Hi, I'm Scott, and this is Amber. Today we're going to talk to you a little bit about the differences between a future purchase option and a benefit update feature.
FIOs, otherwise known as a future increase option, make it pretty simple. This is going to be an increase option rider that's available to you on an annual basis. You have the flexibility to look to buy more coverage on an annual basis, and then upon the calculations of determining what your income is at and how much group insurance you have, you're allowed to pick the increment, and you can choose the amount of coverage that you'd like to increase by, which is different than the future purchase options with some other contracts.
You know, when you're looking at future purchase options or future increase options, a couple of things that you want to keep in mind is that there is a cost that's put onto your contract for that. Now, not all contract costs come off as you utilize those benefits, so be mindful of that. Some contracts actually carry the entire cost of that increase until you've used up every bit of that increase. And then even as a consumer, you have to ask for it to be removed. So just be mindful of the way it works. Obviously, the best ones are the ones that come off as you utilize them. But on an annual basis, if you get that offering and it's 30 days prior and 30 days post your policy anniversary, that's typically the window that you can utilize it.
With FIO, there are no mandatory requirements, so that's another thing that might be nice for some of you. So that's another thing to consider as part of that flexibility that comes with the FIO, but there is a cost associated with that.
But as a side note, where you may not have any obligations, sometimes we find clients push that opportunity off, and sometimes they end up with a claim, and now they potentially are underinsured. So even though you may not have to do anything, you may not be compelled per contract, you probably still want to have a very quick review to understand what are your needs, and does your policy satisfy those needs if a claim were to happen.
So although there's no mandatory requirement, we recommend you evaluating that on an annual basis and just check in. The important thing to know is with the free purchase riders that you have to follow some steps depending upon certain years. You want to keep track of that. I wanted to cover some of the resources we have below in our description box. First, we have our disability insurance physician guide. This will cover the definitions of disability in more detail. Additionally, we have our vocabulary list and our physician disability checklist. This checklist is something that you can print or save on your desktop. That way, when you're doing your research on the different types of riders that are out there, you can keep your notes organized, and then you can figure out a way to structure your plan based upon your needs.